Welcome to a special Classic Game Room, which is sort of a competitive review, but recently I produced a bit of a parody video where I gave my first impressions of the PS4 Pro and actually held up an old MSX computer made by Sony. Now, most of you seem to have gotten the joke, although a lot of people apparently have no sense of humor about that whatsoever, which is kind of strange considering video games are supposed to be fun, so lighten up. But a lot of people also asked me, Mark, what do you really think about the PlayStation 4 Pro? Because I'm a huge PlayStation fan, I have been since the 90s, and I love the PlayStation 4. I think it's a great game system. There's a few things I would have liked to see Sony do differently, but they have a chance now with the PlayStation 4 Pro, right? After all, it's for professionals, and I make a living playing games, or at least talking about them. I'm actually terrible at playing games, but I'm good at talking about Vectrex games, or at least shouting Truxton with reverb. And Framemeister over and over again. I'm still working on a video where I try to plug the Thrustmaster into the Framemeister to create the Thrustmeister, but that could actually break time and space. But back to the talk at hand, which is the term Pro that Sony's using for the PlayStation 4 Pro, PS4 Pro. Is it really for pros? Like, do you have to be a professional gamer and compete in, Major League Gaming or whatever to play one? Or is it a marketing term? The PlayStation 4 Pro. It's meant to sound a little more professional. Maybe you get more with the PS4 Pro than the standard PlayStation 4, and according to their specs, you do. I'm not going to regurgitate the specs because that's boring. So it does 4K. It's got more drive space. It definitely needed more drive space, but I'm not paying $400 for 4K and more drive space because I don't have a TV that'll work with that anyway, and I can get drive space for like $100 on Amazon, and then just install it into my PlayStation 4. So what does the Pro give me? How about VR? I don't really care about VR all that much. Maybe eventually I'll get into it, but early adopters are always going to pay more for this stuff, so you may as well wait until they figure out what they're doing. Pro. It makes me immediately think of the Atari 7800 Pro system. Now, I love the Atari 7800 Pro system for a variety of reasons. Number one, it's backwards compatible with Atari 2600 games. Did you know that it was the first, or at least one of the first, truly backwards compatible game systems that allows you to play the reasonably small library of 7800 games and the massive library of Atari 2600 games. And the Atari 2600 has one of the greatest game catalogs in existence. Games like Yar's Revenge, Berserk, Moon Patrol, Ms. Pac-Man, well, forget the original Pac-Man, but there's so many great games on the Atari 2600, and the fact that the 7800 allows you to play them, as well as the 7800 games like Xevious and Robotron 2084, Desert Falcon, and Ninja Golf, well, it's pretty awesome. Pro. Was it really made for professional gamers? No. It's a marketing term, and Atari used it as such, but in my mind, Pro means backwards compatible, so if Sony wants my $400 to buy another perfectly good PlayStation 4 when I'm happy with the one that I have, which has a sweet wood grain finish, plays a lot of great games. It should hopefully play the new Gran Turismo. It plays Doom, Wolfenstein, Shovel Knight, tons of great games on the PlayStation 4. Do I need to upgrade to enjoy it a little better? Is it like the new 3DS XL, which is arguably the best Nintendo 3DS, but it's slightly better than the standard Nintendo 3DS XL. It loads games a little faster. It's a little snappier. Has a couple features that make it a little bit better, but do you need to buy an entirely new Nintendo 3DS XL? Especially when it doesn't even come with its own power supply? At least the PlayStation 4 should. At least I hope it does. Imagine if they sold the PlayStation 4 Pro without a power supply. That would be a true move worthy of only Nintendo. Only Nintendo can pull that stuff off. I don't think Sony could do that. People probably still expect a plug to go into a wall and power the PS4 Pro. But I expect something different if you want my money, and that is backwards compatibility with PlayStation 2 games. Because like the Atari 2600, the PlayStation 2 has one of the greatest video game catalogs, in fact, possibly the greatest video game catalog in existence, with multiple Grand Theft Auto games, Gran Turismo, you got the Killzone games, and countless more, thousands of PlayStation 2 games in a wide variety of genres. Back from that era when I think developers were really pushing the envelope and trying new things with games that were still big, but not so big that they couldn't afford to make them anymore, which is the problem that we're having now, which is why we have, very few big budget games. Back in the day, they were churning them out left and right. Now, some of them are arguably pretty bad, but there's also some really good ones. And like you, I have a lot of these PlayStation 2 games. I've got a huge stack of PS2 games, and I'd love to play them in 1080p or whatever. Just I'd like to play them on one game system that plays all of the PlayStation games, like the Atari 7800. Like the Atari 7800 PROsystem, I would like the PS4 Pro to be backwards compatible. And don't just make me go and download the games and pay more for games I already have. Let me play the games I've already purchased. Imagine the PS4 Pro is so professional. It's backwards compatible with the PS2. How about the PS1 and the PS3 also? And then while you're at it, how about the Atari 2600? Just put a cartridge slot in the back so I can play some Yar's Revenge in virtual reality or something. Like, I would totally pay $400 for that. If you just add that one feature, you've got my money. Until then, I'm going to have to wait and see what the PS4 Pro does. Is it really that much better than the standard PlayStation 4, which is a terrific game system? I guess we'll see. Is it really going to be better than the Atari 7800, which is also a terrific game system? I guess we'll see. If you're going to buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Now prepare for the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano! Derek Langley. Beer is the trick. Steven Chucknick. From New Jersey. Michael Fernandez. People not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Al Stiver. Woo! EDM! Jason from British Columbia. Philip Strabenmuller from Vienna, Austria. Cue the thunder. Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Briar. Cue the lava. I don't know what lava sounds like. It sounds like this. Jack Stavris from Australia. Ohad Kane, Master of Thunder. Chip Sankvale, Fighter of Space Bees. Woo! Rick DeBarros gets the extra disco. Michael and Ariana Nelson, Fighters of the Future. That's enough disco, because now it's time to shout, Busy Signal! That's right, and keep the volume loud and the party rocking for Sean Zoltek. Really? No. Sean Zoltek! Sergio Matthias Hergert! Tubular. Will.